In this video, we'll uncover the most expensive silver Washington quarter-dollar coins you should be on the lookout for. We'll break down what makes these coins so special, how much they're worth in today's market, and what you need to know to sell them successfully at auction. First up, in today's video, we're diving into a classic coin with a bit of history, the 1970 silver Washington quarter dollar with D mint mark. This coin isn't just a part of American history. It also carries some significant value, especially when in extra fine condition. So, let's take a closer look at what makes this coin special and how much it's worth in today's auction market. First, let's take a look at the obverse, which features the iconic portrait of George Washington, created by artist John Flanagan. This design, first introduced in 1932, remains one of the most recognizable in U.S. coinage. The coin reads, "Liberty" across the top, and "In God We Trust" to the left. At the bottom, we see the year 1970. The D mint mark, which you'll find just to the right of Washington's neck, indicates that this coin was minted in Denver. Now let's flip the coin and take a look at the reverse. Here we see a powerful image of a bald eagle, its wings spread wide, holding an olive branch in one talon and a bundle of arrows in the other. Beneath the eagle, you'll find the words United States of America, E pluribus, unum and quarter dollar. This design has been on the Washington quarter since its inception, representing strength, freedom, and unity. So, what does extra fine condition mean for this coin? An extra fine coin is one that has been well preserved with minimal wear. You'll notice the details on Washington's hair, the eagle's feathers, and the lettering are still sharp and clear. There might be a little light wear, especially on the high points like the cheek and hair, but overall, this coin is in great shape for its age. Let's take a closer look at the D mint mark. This small letter tells us that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the main minting facilities in the United States. While the D mint mark isn't as rare as some other mint marks, it still contributes to the coin's overall identity and plays a role in its market value. Now, let's talk about the value of this coin in today's market. The 1970 silver Washington quarter is made of 80% silver, which means its value is largely influenced by the current price of silver. At today's silver market rate, the intrinsic value of the silver alone in this quarter can range from $2,500 to $3,000. However, that's just for the silver content. When you take this coin to an auction or a reputable coin dealer, its value can go beyond just the silver content. Because this 1970 silver Washington quarter is in extra fine condition, its market value is higher than one in average or worn condition. Depending on the collector's demand and the quality of the coin, you could expect this quarter to sell for anywhere between in the current auction market. In some cases, if there's a particularly strong demand or a bidding war, it might even fetch more. The value of coins can fluctuate depending on their condition. A 1970 quarter in good or fine condition may only be worth a few dollars, but in extra fine condition like this one, the price can jump significantly. For example, while a worn coin might only bring in $20,000, well-preserved extra fine coin like this one could be worth $6,000 or more, especially when you factor in the current silver prices and collector interest. Proper care of your coins is essential to maintaining their value. Storing your quarter in a protective holder will help prevent any additional wear and tear, preserving the sharp details and overall appearance. Keeping it in a cool, dry place will also protect it from environmental factors that could cause damage. Next up, the 1974 Washington quarter without a mint mark. If you've ever wondered how much this particular quarter is worth in today's auction market, stick around because we're about to explore its history, features, and current value. First, let's take a look at the obverse of the coin, which features the legendary portrait of George Washington. This design, created by artist John Flanagan, has been a hallmark of the Washington quarter series ever since its debut in 1932. The coin reads, "Liberty" at the top, "In God We Trust" to the left of Washington, and the year 1974 at the bottom. Now, one key thing to note is that this particular coin does not have a mint mark. So, what does that mean? The absence of a mint mark means this quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which, for this series, is quite common. The Philadelphia Mint typically doesn't place a mint mark on coins produced there, unlike the Denver and San Francisco mints. But just because there's no mint mark doesn't mean this coin is without value. Let's dive deeper. On the reverse of the coin, we find a beautiful depiction of a bald eagle, which is the same design that has appeared on Washington quarters for decades. The eagle is shown with its wings spread wide, holding an olive branch in one talon and a bundle of arrows in the other. The inscription reads, United States of America, e pluribus, unum, and quarter dollar. This iconic design is rich in symbolism, representing strength, peace, and freedom. Now, let's talk about the condition of this particular coin. This 1974 Washington quarter is in fine condition, which means it shows moderate wear but still retains most of its detail. In fine condition, the design elements like Washington's features and the eagle's wings are still visible, but you might notice some smoothing or wear, particularly on the high points like the cheek and the top of the wings. One important factor influencing the value of this coin is its silver content. The 1974 Washington quarter is made of 90% silver, which means it has intrinsic value beyond just its face value of $2,500. With silver prices fluctuating in the market, the silver content of this quarter typically gives it a base value of around $15,000, depending on the current silver price. However, if you were to take this 1974 quarter to an auction or coin dealer, its market value would be influenced by its condition and collector demand. In fine condition, you could expect this quarter to sell for anywhere between $50,000 at an auction. If it's a particularly sought-after year, or there's a strong demand for Washington quarters, the price could even go a bit higher. Keep in mind, the value of Washington quarters can vary greatly depending on the condition of the coin. A quarter in fine condition like this one will typically bring in less than a quarter in extra fine or uncirculated condition, which can fetch significantly higher prices. For instance, uncirculated 1974 quarters can sometimes sell for $1,500 or more, but this is a fine example that's priced around $55,000. If you own a coin like this, it's important to store it properly to protect its condition. Using a protective holder or capsule will help prevent scratches, dirt, and further wear. And always keep it in a cool, dry environment to ensure it holds its value over time. Next up, the 1991 Washington quarter dollar with P mint mark in very fine condition. If you're curious about its value in the current auction market, stick around because we're going to break down its features and tell you exactly how much it's worth today. Let's start by looking at the obverse, or front side, of the coin. This features a portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. It's the same iconic design we've seen on Washington quarters for decades. You'll notice the inscription Liberty at the top. In God we trust to the left of Washington, and the year 1991 below his bust. Now, if we look closely, you'll spot the mint mark P right under the year. This means the coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. This is an important detail because, while most coins from the Philadelphia Mint don't feature a mint mark, quarters from this era do. The 1991 coin is one of those examples, and it's definitely worth noting for collectors. Moving on to the reverse, we see the same classic design that's been part of the Washington quarter series since 1932. The bald eagle, with its wings outstretched, is shown holding an olive branch and a bundle of arrows in its talons. Around it, we see the inscriptions United States of America, e pluribus, unum, and quarter dollar. This strong and beautiful design symbolizes the United States' strength and peace. Now, let's talk about the condition of this coin. This particular 1991 Washington quarter is graded in very fine condition. What does that mean? Well, in very fine condition, you'll see noticeable wear across the high points of the coin, but the design remains distinct. The details of Washington's hair, the eagle's wings, and other key features are still clearly visible, though they have experienced a bit of wear over time. Now, even though this 1991 quarter is a modern coin, it still contains 90% silver, which gives it intrinsic value. While it may not be a rare coin, the silver content is an important factor in its overall worth. As silver prices fluctuate, the value of the silver content in this quarter could range between $4,000 and $5,000 depending on the current market. Now, if you were to take this coin to an auction or sell it to a coin dealer, you'll likely see its value come in slightly higher than its silver content due to its condition and demand. In very fine condition, you could expect to see this 1991 Washington quarter selling anywhere between $58,000 and $6,000 at auction. That price can vary depending on the specific auction house or the buyer's interest in acquiring this particular coin. If you're holding on to a coin like this, proper care is key to maintaining its value. Make sure to handle the coin carefully, preferably with gloves, and store it in a protective holder to avoid any further wear or damage. If you plan on keeping it for a long time, a good quality coin capsule or holder is highly recommended. So, to summarize, the 1991 Washington quarter with P mint mark in very fine condition is a great coin with both historical and silver value. In today's auction market, it could fetch between, depending on the demand and the specific auction. It's a solid piece to add to your collection if you're into modern US coins or silver content. Next up, we're diving into a very cool piece of US coin history, the 1972 silver Washington quarter with a large date and D mint mark. If you've ever wondered about the value of this coin in today's auction market, you've come to the right place. Let's break down its features and talk about what it's worth now. First, let's take a look at the obverse, or front, of this iconic coin. You'll see the portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Above him, the word Liberty, and at the bottom, the year 1972. But notice something interesting, the large date style. In 1972, the US Mint produced two different date styles, a large date and a small date. The large date is the more commonly found version, and it's a key feature for collectors. Right below the year 1972, you'll spot the D mint mark. This indicates that the coin was minted at the Denver Mint. The D mint mark is crucial for determining the origin and rarity of the coin. While many quarters were minted at the Denver Mint, this detail still plays a role in its overall value. Flipping the coin over, we see the reverse side, which features the ever-famous design of the bald eagle. This design was created by John R. Sinek and has been used on Washington quarters since 1932. The eagle is perched, holding an olive branch and arrows, symbolizing peace and strength. The inscriptions around it read, United States of America, e pluribus unum and $quarter. The reverse design is rich in symbolism and adds to the coin's historical value. Now let's talk about this specific coin's condition extra fine. In extra fine condition, the coin shows only light wear. The features, especially on the high points like Washington's face and the eagle's wings, remain sharp and well-defined. The details are still crisp, with just a hint of wear making it stand out in a collection. Another important thing to consider is the silver content. This 1972 Washington quarter contains 90% silver, which gives it intrinsic value beyond just being a collectible. With silver prices fluctuating, the silver in this quarter alone could range between $60,000 depending on the current market price for silver. So, what's the value of this coin on today's auction market? Given that this 1972 Washington quarter is in extra fine condition, it is considered to be in a very desirable state for collectors. As of today, this coin could be worth between $20,000 at auction, depending on the buyer's interest and the demand for 1972 quarters. The value fluctuates based on factors like the coin's condition, the silver market, and overall collector demand. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a 1972 Washington quarter like this in your collection, remember that proper storage is key. Handling it carefully, ideally with gloves, and storing it in a protective capsule will help preserve its condition. Coins in great shape fetch the best prices, so it's worth investing in quality storage. Next up, close look at a unique piece of U.S. coin history, the 1984 silver Washington quarter with a large date and the P mint mark. If you've ever wondered about the value of this coin in today's auction market, you're in for an exciting breakdown. Let's dive into what makes this quarter so interesting and valuable. First, let's talk about the obverse, the front of the coin. Here, we see the classic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Above him, the word Liberty, and at the bottom, the year 1984. What's important to notice here is the large date style. 1984 was one of the years where the US Mint used a large date, making this version more distinctive and collectible. It's a feature that stands out to collectors when identifying Washington quarters from that era. Now, let's focus on the P Mint mark just below the year. This mint mark indicates that this quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. In fact, the 1984 Washington quarter is one of the few years where the Philadelphia Mint used a P Mint mark on circulation coins, which adds a bit of rarity to this particular coin. Flipping the coin over, we find the reverse design, which features a bald eagle, perched on an olive branch and arrows. This iconic design, created by John R. Sinek, has been used on the Washington quarter since 1932. The eagle represents strength, freedom, and peace, key elements of American values. Surrounding the eagle are the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus, unum, and quarter dollar. These features give the coin its timeless appeal. Now, let's discuss the condition of this particular coin. This 1984 quarter is in good condition. What does that mean? A coin in good condition will show visible wear, especially on the high points such as Washington's face and the eagle's wings. The details are still visible, but there's more noticeable smoothing due to circulation. Coins in good condition are still valuable, especially when they're in demand among collectors. It's also important to note that this quarter is made from 90% silver, which gives it intrinsic value beyond just being a collectible. The current silver market price will affect how much this coin is worth based on its silver content alone. Given the recent trends in the silver market, a silver Washington quarter like this could be worth anywhere from $900 just for its silver content. So, what about the auction value based on recent sales and current market trends? A 1984 Washington quarter in good condition could range anywhere from $75,000 in an auction. The value depends on several factors: its silver content, demand, and how much collectors are willing to pay for a coin in good condition. Of course, condition is key, and while good condition doesn't command top dollar, it still holds value, especially when buyers are looking for affordable but historically significant pieces. If you have a 1984 silver Washington quarter like this in your collection, make sure to store it carefully. Handling it with gloves and keeping it in a protective capsule can help preserve its value. Even small details like avoiding harsh cleaning can make a big difference in a coin's long-term worth. So to wrap it up, the 1984 silver Washington quarter, with a large date and P mint mark in good condition, can be worth around $12,000 in today's auction market, depending on the buyer and current silver prices. Next up, the Washington Quarter Series, the 1985 Silver Washington Quarter, featuring a large date and the D mint mark. If you're wondering what this coin is worth in today's auction market, you're in for a treat. Let's break it down, from its design to its market value and everything in between. Let's start with the obverse, the front of the coin. Here, we have the iconic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Above his image, you'll see the word Liberty and the year 1985. What's especially important here is the large date style used in 1985. The large date feature gives this coin a distinct look, making it easily recognizable among other Washington quarters. Now, check out the D mint mark just below the year. This indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The D mint mark is significant because it tells us that this coin is one of the Denver minted Washington quarters from 1985. And because it was struck at a specific mint, it may have a slightly different market value than its Philadelphia counterpart. Flipping the coin over, we find the reverse design, which features a majestic bald eagle perched on an olive branch and arrows. This design has been a part of the Washington quarter since 1932. Surrounding the eagle, you'll find the inscriptions: United States of America, E pluribus unum, and quarter dollar. This timeless imagery continues to make the Washington quarter a favorite among collectors. Now let's talk about the condition of this specific coin. Extra fine. In extra fine condition, the coin has been circulated, but its details are still sharp. You can clearly see the design, with just a little wear on the high points like Washington's face and the eagle's wings. This is a coin that still holds its beauty and has maintained a lot of its original details, making it quite valuable for collectors. Another thing to note is the silver content of this coin. The 1985 Washington quarter is made from 90% silver, so it has intrinsic value beyond its collectible worth. The silver content of a coin like this means that its value is also tied to the price of silver in the market. As the silver price fluctuates, the value of this coin can shift too. So, what is this coin worth in today's auction market? Based on recent sales, a 1985 silver Washington quarter in extra fine condition can range in value from $80,000. Of course, the exact value depends on factors like the demand at the time of sale and the current price of silver. But one thing's for sure, because of its large date and the silver content, this coin is a sought-after piece for collectors. Next up, the 1980 silver Washington quarter with a large date and D-mint mark. If you've ever wondered what this coin is worth in today's auction market, you're in the right place. Let's take a look at its design, condition, and current value. First, let's start with the obverse of the coin. Here we see the iconic bust of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. This portrait has graced the front of the Washington quarter for decades. Above the portrait, you'll find the word Liberty, along with the year 1980. This year's quarter features the large date variety, which is a little easier to read compared to some of the smaller date varieties from earlier years. Next, take a close look at the D mint mark just below the year. This indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. It's an important detail because coins from different mints can sometimes have slightly different values based on their rarity and the demand from collectors. On the reverse side, we see the familiar design of the bald eagle, perched on an olive branch and arrows, symbolizing peace and strength. Surrounding the eagle are the words, United States of America, e pluribus, unum and quarter dollar. This design has been part of the Washington quarter since its introduction in 1932. Now, let's talk about the condition of this specific coin. Very fine. In very fine condition, this 1980 Washington quarter has been circulated, but retains a lot of its original detail. You can still see the sharp outlines of George Washington's face and the eagle's wings, though there is some minor wear. Especially on the high points, the design is clear and easy to recognize, which is great for collectors. One important thing to keep in mind is the silver content of this coin. The 1980 Washington quarter is made from 90% silver, which means it has intrinsic value. So, not only is it collectible, but its value also depends on the current market price of silver. So, what is this 1980 silver Washington quarter worth today in the auction market? Based on recent sales, a 1980 silver Washington quarter in very fine condition typically sells for around $12,000 to $15,000. The value can fluctuate depending on the demand at the time of sale and the price of silver in the market. But in general, you can expect a coin in very fine condition to fall in this price range. If you happen to own a 1980 silver Washington quarter in very fine condition, it's important to store it properly to maintain its value. Using a coin holder or capsule and handling it with care, like wearing gloves, will prevent any unnecessary wear or damage to the coin. Proper care ensures that your coin holds its value for years to come. Yo, sum up. The 1980 silver Washington quarter with the large date and D mint mark in very fine condition has an estimated value of $18,000 to $20,000 in today's auction market. While it might not be one of the most valuable coins out there, its silver content and collectability make it a great addition to any collection. Thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more coin insights, and ring the bell so you don't miss any future videos. Do you have any 1980 Washington quarters in your collection? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your collection.